weren't doing anything. Like, what is going on? You know?
Oh wow,
Yeah, just and I said, well, maybe you need
it's
to
crazy.
restart. We restarted and it kept doing it, and so I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Crystal, you making that noise?
Really clean that. Make sure we set. We logged in.
Yeah, I've been listening to all these discussions and news reports about Meta and Microsoft and between all
Mm.
the alphabetical this, that, and the
Yeah,
other. Ooh,
yeah. It's horrible. It's sad. It's
because
sad.
a lot
I
of people
think
said, what's gonna happen to AltSpace? And I said, I
I
can't
don't think I
do
think you know what it
do it
is.
like
I
that.
think with
I can't.
no, I think this is just my opinion. I think what happened with Microsoft was
Ladies
um
and gentlemen, welcome back
we'll
to
talk later.
Crypto
Yeah,
City.
yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk
And
later.
now, your host,
We're having our own
City
discussion, you know.
Girl.
Ooh, yes, city girl.
Hey,
Ooh,
City
Welcome, everyone.
Girl.
Thank you for joining us today on Crypto City.
that's fine.
Tonight, we start an exciting adventure into NFTs. I think this is one of the most exciting because it's many of us already create, collect, or at least have seen NFTs. So it's a topic that we're a little bit more familiar with in our day to day conversations. As most of you know, I used to be the host of a VR show called Yummy NFTs, and I interviewed many people who are involved in different aspects of NFTs. Some are creating as sellers, collectors, traders, and some are creating for their utility. There's NFTs involved with art and music and gaming. There's so many different areas in which it reaches into. We're going to embark on a journey over the next 2 episodes discussing how and why of all of this and more. NFTs have become part of daily life now. Whether you hear about someone paying incredibly high prices for a piece of artwork, or some major brands using NFTs for utility in access rights and creating interest through scarcity. In fact, it was announced this past week that you can now buy Solana NFTs on Instagram and Facebook. It's moving into our social medias as well. And most of all, at this time, NFTs can be created by virtually anyone. Whether you're a new artist looking to literally show the world your work, or you're an established business looking for a creative way to improve your marketing, there's so many possibilities to incorporate. So let's get down to business and start our journey. First, let's throw up a warm welcome to my co-host, PixelAddikt. So let's throw up some hearts and emojis.
Hey everyone,
Welcome,
hey City.
Pixel.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Welcome.
How's
A
it going?
really great week. Great week. How about you?
Absolutely, very excited.
Excited to chat with you tonight about NFTs and to share with our audience some of the basics today to give us a foundation to grow from.
Yeah, absolutely. No, always excited to share kind of there's so many different types of NFTs. We've been talking about it and tonight we're going to break down and kind of go through a lot of the major ones and I know we might not hit everybody's special kind of project, but this will give everybody a good foundation as we go through the next few weeks to kind of break down why this has caused such a big uproar in the media, right? And all the different art, like all the artists are really into this now and now it's taking over digital and taking over gaming. So it's great to kind of break a lot of this down.
Absolutely. So, one thing before we start talking about NFTs in general, these people who are here tonight, actually, it's very special for them because we are starting a contest tonight. And many of you know after our show, we offer up a POAP that you can collect by DMing us after the event. So from now until the end of the year, we're having a contest. If you collect all of the POAPs, we're going to be gifting you an NFT. So you want to make sure that you come so that you can get these POAPs.
Yeah. Talk about creators, other developers in our network, and we can have like a Zoom session or a kind of a exclusive event here in our world, and only invite those that win.
Absolutely.
All right, well, let's jump
So,
in, right? So,
yeah, let's
yeah, we're
jump
going to
right
jump
in.
into, all the different types. We're going to start off with the one of one, right? That's the big artists that, that have been working on digital art like for years and years. And now this is their chance to get into the NFT world. So a lot of them, Ferocious was like one of the young kind of stars that he took this beautiful kind of art and digitalized it and was able to kind of grow a community around him and really kind of popularize. He was able to get in Sotheby's, right, to kind of push all these different one-on-one and very creative. And we all know Beeple. Beeple's the one that sold, $70 million kind of at Christie's auction house. That was one of the big NFTs that got everybody excited. And why is there so much money being poured in? Well, it's because it was very unique. It's very rare. Like if you had that NFT, nobody else had it. So he was one of the first ones to
Absolutely.
kind of jump in and have that utility. So
And then Beeple is the one who actually put NFTs on the map for everybody. I mean, he kind of made everybody get interested, like, wow, look at the money that's actually behind some of this.
right. No, and being able to like the first time to have that royalty rate, right? Like, and you got to remember that a lot of the old artists, like in Picasso and kind of Van Gogh and all them, like they had all this art, but there was no way for them to collect royalties on the road, right? Like along all the years. So NFTs and digital art, obviously, if you're a big artist, this is a way for you to kind of provide provenance and a digital kind of public blockchain so that there's a history of all your art and the rarity and kind of stuff associated with it. So
Absolutely. So
tie
let's
it to
talk about
physical goods, being able to create a lot of this art and then maybe there it's a painting and then you can have the physical painting, then the digital painting, the NFT. Sometimes you
mm,
can buy the digital version, then they'll ship you, the physical version. There's different ways of, and then you can still trade the NFT. So you can still make money from it and different. There's a lot of different kind of artists that are doing some really cool things, like controlling the auction. That's a big thing too, right? And how you decide to put out your art. Like whether it's a Dutch auction, where you start really high, then the price goes down so that the it's more about rarity. You can
yes,
control that.
absolutely. And the whole thing with, like you were just saying about, pulling off the digital pieces when the original exists. This I actually have an artist in here that we're familiar with, but they actually sell off the digital pieces so that they are able to retain their original piece, so that they don't actually want to give up the beautiful piece of artwork they created. They can keep that and sell off the digital pieces so that other people can enjoy their artwork as well, but then they don't lose their original.
Absolutely. Yeah. And a lot of the one-on-ones, it's like if you own this piece of art, then it can give you access to maybe behind the scenes content or, the creating of this masterpiece. That's another
Mhm.
thing, right? Is tie a lot of the content in with the NFT, right? So you
Yes.
tell your community and you tell your fans, look, you're buying this NFT, but you're the only one that has access to this special media kind of tied to it. So
Absolutely, and sometimes these images that people will purchase, that they can get certain rights occasionally where they can actually take, whether they take the piece of artwork and they turn it into clothing or they turn it into home decor because they have the option to do that built into the rights within that piece from certain artists.
right. And that's what creates the rarity, right? The one of one. Okay, so moving on,
Absolutely.
the second one is a lot of the collectibles, right? That's the biggest one. I think one of the big categories that everybody knows. It's these 10,000 and digital collectibles. So it's a lot of
Mhm.
artists that instead of just creating one piece, they want to create a whole collection, right? And they want to be
Yes.
able to make different ones so that everybody can buy like their version, right? And there's rarity instilled in a lot of these collections. So different ones have different price points, and the World of Women was an awesome kind of project that a young woman kind of designed a lot of these custom, and they overlaid with a lot of code, and she was able to kind of give back to the community and kind of do some sustainable work and kind of different groups. And I think the charity stuff aspect is of these communities is makes it so kind of awesome, right? Like everybody loves that. So
The charity piece is huge for me. I absolutely love that you can be selling these pieces and using the funds from them to help out. So yes, there is a monetization that people look for themselves for, actual like living off of, but also, you can do this with a good intent and actually put these pieces out there to raise funds for charitable events.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned the roadmap, right? That's big on these collection kind of projects, these collectibles. It's more about what are you going to do with all these avatars? What are you going to do with all these, NFTs? So it's about Discord and kind of keeping in the community, then having different events. Like the Doodles, that's a big thing where they have, real world events at South by Southwest. So you have all these kind of, events at restaurants. So if you have these NFTs, you can be a part of like a community, be a part of, and that's kind of the Board Apes and then Yuga Labs, and so kind of bringing all that as, being a part of a brand new community that's Web3. That you
Hmm.
have to have this digital file to be in this cool club, right? Like it's,
Yeah,
and the
it's a
value
it's
of
a
that kind
unique
of goes
membership
up.
gift. Mhm.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Oh, and there's some massive communities, and they really try and innovate a lot to kind of bring value to the NFT holders in forms of events and other types of
Mhm.
metaverse, and kind of they're all building platforms. Like before, it used to be you'd buy one of these as just a JPEG. Now they're evolving the JPEGs into either 3D models or, like you said, wearables, or there's
Yes.
things, these projects that are evolving from these, collectibles.
And the thing is too is that, like anything in life, people want to be part of something. So,
Right.
if they're sitting there and they say, okay, like let's take CryptoPunks, and you put them out there and there's X amount and everybody wants to have one because they want to be part of this cool club. I mean, there's exclusivity in being part of it. And yes, there might be lots of them out there. If you look at it relatively to how many humans there are on the earth, as to how
Mhm.
many actually collect this, you're still in a very rare, small group that has this. So and
Right.
just like when they sit there and they give a release out of new Jordan sneakers and everybody wants to get them, some people have them, some people don't, and the people who don't are like, oh, I love those, I want that, and that's where this is going. Is people here, I want a Board Ape, I want a CryptoPunk, I want that because I know that you have that and you're cool, and it's just part of community, all in all.
It's a status symbol, some of them are, and
Mhm.
some of them are buying it to support the artist, some of them are buying it to be a part of the community, or kind of, and some
Sure.
of them are buying it, purely for financial, purely to kind of make money, right? Like they're
Hmm.
flipping it, or that's a thing too, is investing in some of these NFTs as a gamble, only if you can afford
Yep.
it, right? Only if you can, but you pay a few
Yes.
$100s maybe, and then that could be worth
Knows
enough
how much
money
it's
where,
worth.
yeah, like it happens, and I know a lot of the NFT market kind of last year kind of went up really high, and then it kind of slowed down with
Yeah.
all of crypto. But
Like
it's a
everything.
type of, it's a good thing. Maybe some of these are on sale, right? Some of these are valued properly. I guess maybe some of the projects are obviously overvalued, right? Like some of them are, and but you'll be able to see which ones give value over time. I think they'll keep the value.
Yes.
So. Yeah,
Yep,
moving on.
absolutely.
You've heard about this generative art, right? Like taking code and kind of merging code with some kind of art, and yeah, that's exactly what this next category is.
Now, tell me about the utility with this, though. Like, let's talk about an example of what would you do with.
Right. So a lot of this is based off, like the rarity is based off a lot of the code. So depending on what the artist, creates, whether it's little chroma squiggles or whether it's, generative art that makes from code, it's really
Mhm.
about, the artist kind of, pouring their heart in kind of the digital tools. So a lot of their supporters are buying it because they find that it's a unique piece.
Absolutely.
It's not handmade, right? It's a unique piece that they had to write the
Right.
code for this. They had to most of these guys are programmers. So they're kind of programmers that are artists and able to kind of create new types of media, new types of form. Like they can
Mm.
take old types of oil paintings and then maybe some new digital art, some new composites or something, and then overlay them and then create new remixes. and that to them is fun, right? It's
Of course, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing too is although a lot of this is, creativity and done for money and everything, there's definitely a portion of it that you do for the love of creating this stuff as well.
yeah, and you can tell too. A lot of coders kind of, they on at hobbies and stuff, and they see all these artists, and people have been creating art with code for decades. So now it's a way of a lot of those digital guys, kind of like people, like taking digital art
Yeah.
now monetizing it on the blockchain and creating communities around it, so that they can expose other people and kind of, and grow that kind of specific subgenre of kind of art. And it's picked up quite the. There's millions and millions of dollars that get traded in this, all these different types of NFTs, whether it's music or generative art. There's lots of
Mhm.
money kind of going in between the new new types of collectors.
For sure.
Jumping
So
into photography.
photography.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
this is something everybody can relate to.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, everybody's, takes photos, whether it's hobbies or whether it's nature, or, everybody has a lot of these collections. And a lot of the old photography is now getting into digital tools, Photoshop and kind of these new ones, Lightroom, right? To
Mhm.
control a lot of these photography. Well, now there's a ways to, put them on the blockchain and use platforms like Sloika that actually kind of is only for photography, so that your copyrights kind of and all your licenses and everything are all handled by the platform. So that when you submit a lot of that artwork, or kind of either retaining some of those IP rights, or you're giving them to, your fans or your collectors. So there's ways that now, like photographers for years have, been a lot of their art has been stolen, right? A lot of their art either online because they have no control over it. Well, now what they're doing is Adobe stepped in and they're adding like content credentials. So they're adding
Okay.
like
Mhm.
watermarks that are embedded into the actual digital files, so that the whole scamming, oh, yo, I took somebody's art and I put it on the blockchain, I put it on OpenSea, and I made money. Well, a lot of these platforms now are starting to do better security to kind of keep the creators safe, and
Protect the creator. Exactly.
absolutely kind of,
Which
lower the fraud.
that gives the creator some sense of security when they're putting this stuff out there that, because a lot of people say, what about all the scams? What about all the
Right.
duplicity and everything that's out there? This gives them a little sense of security while they're creating this stuff to make them want to do more.
Well, and just like the artists I mentioned before, the photographers, they don't see money sometimes because it just gets lost, right? Like
Mm.
their legacy, right? A lot of their artwork in photography kind of gets. So this is a way to take a lot of that old photography, put it on the blockchain, make sure that you get kind of credited for it, and then sell it yourself to your fans, your legacy, send it to a
Mhm.
museum, kind of a better, more modern way of making sure that your kids get paid. The problem with a lot of this art, music and art and everything, is that your kids and your family and your generational wealth like doesn't get, nobody respects that. Companies, you can't rely on these companies to respect, your provenance and kind of your legacy. So this is a way of Web3 of taking control of that and making sure that the kids get paid. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So music NFTs. Now this is something that there's a lot of different types of utility built. You know, one is only through having the NFTs. And you actually are involved in the music industry in real life. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you've seen on the back end of that?
Yeah, well, just the involved, meaning, tech guy in the back end that helps kind of with some groups like Naughty by Nature and Ill Sluggas and that. So taking a lot of this music, right, and putting it in NFT form, and there's been different various kind of ways that people have been doing it, but
Mhm.
basically, you're uploading digital files, and the consumer can either have access to exclusive content like gated content, so that it opens up more media. Right? It can be a player, or it can be like a vault that has files where you can download, or it can be a streaming player. But guys like Tory Lanez have put out, music exclusively via NFT. Then some of those platforms you have to create a wallet for it. You have to download, but it gives you access to rarity. Like there's only going to be 5,000 songs released for this album, 5,000 of that
Without the
single.
NFT, you don't have it.
Oh, and then that way you're trying to collect from that artist and support. And,
Mm.
hopefully some of them are using it. But as you can see, there are other platforms that let you, sell royalties. You can have NFTs that you can divide your royalties within your fans, or you can. There's a lot of different stuff where they do ticketing or like meet and greets and different kind of fan
VIP
support, like
packages.
extra content.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And they're not being any central authority, right? Like, so some of these platforms, that's where you're uploading them to. But if it's on the Ethereum blockchain, you own that NFT, you own access to that content. So you can share that any way you want. The marketing and all the advertising. So there's platforms that'll help you get started, right? Make it really easy. Upload your album cover, upload your music, put your descriptions and your meta tags so that you can share it easily online. But nice to see that big rappers, like Nas and kind of Jay-Z and them, they're involved in tech companies that do, blockchain and web and music kind of to get the music out there. And kids are, they're listening to music differently. They're integrating it differently in mobile games and everything. So
Mm.
now they want to be able to own those NFTs. And if I can own maybe a piece of your music, so you create a song, you can actually make each stem, each part of the music NFT, you can create that so that they can create remixes. You can take all of the stems from a song and then put it in a generator, and these fans can go and click and create all new different types of music so that you own a unique copy of that band's kind of song. Mike
Which is
Shinoda
actually
from
great for up and coming artists as well, to be able to have
it's
something to play
creative.
with it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's new ways of kind of sharing music, right? And merging music with NFTs and merging it with metaverse, right? So having access to your specific content and doing shows like this or doing promos
Mhm.
or doing events. We all know about the holoportation event that that AltSpace puts on, and that's promoting your music and possibly kind of connecting with your fans to download your OAP kind of NFT or your music
Yep.
NFT. Fun.
I mean, there's so many different ways to, incorporate and I mean, obviously with artwork, it's more, straightforward, but with the music stuff, you just do have so many different alleyways in there to incorporate it within not just the music industry, but for the actual end users as well. Should we take a
Right.
moment and talk to our audience and ask them, if any
Absolutely.
of them are you, but how many, like by a show of hearts, how many of you have NFTs right now? Whether they're POAPs or music NFTs or artwork? Have
Excellent.
any of you created your own NFT? Okay, so we do have a few
Fantastic.
people out there who are creating. That's wonderful.
When
Are any of you doing,
and William.
done anything with some music NFTs, or is it mostly all artwork? Oh, okay, we got some music
Let's
out there.
ask.
Okay. All right, great. Very interesting.
Want to
Oh,
share? Like, when I have questions or share
yeah.
with the
Does
music
anyone
NFTs
want to
or?
raise their hand and talk to us a bit about what you are doing? Okay. So we can give Joanne access to talk, please.
Can you please raise your hand so I can give you amplify?
If
Will
you
she
look
have
down
it?
on your
Huh?
right-hand side, you'll have the raise hand. If you just click
Oh,
on
there
that,
she
then
is.
she can give you access. There we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Joanne.
You're welcome. We've been musicians for a long time. So we've been through all the different selling aspects of music. And of course, several years ago that became pretty difficult. So NFTs came along and we're looking at that. The way that we sell NFTs, my husband's the composer and I'm a digital artist, content creator. So we sell our NFTs as music, video, and art as a packet.
Cool. Nice.
And that
Nice.
packet, of course, some goes to us, and we do have a nonprofit we're setting up as well for other artists. So it's kind of a
Love it.
whole program package kind of thing.
Love that.
It's amazing.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And that's a
Would
great way
anyone
too
else
to
like
kind
to
of
share?
split a lot of
Mm.
that content, right, to charities and that. So if you create some of that content and people are buying in, you can kind of share that. That's amazing.
I love that. The whole charity aspect always, to me, there's so many ways to give back. And if we can find creative ways like this, that is not just, it's always good to donate money, but when you can find a creative way to get other people involved in your
Right.
donation by having them buy into whether it is your NFT or an event that you're hosting or something like that, it's more about, the awareness that you spread at the same time. So it's amazing that you're using it in that format.
Well, and this Web3 kind of makes it this direct to consumer, right? Direct to fan. So being
Mhm.
able to kind of do that and give them access is the best kind of, because you're creating that content for them. So it's specific and a lot more personal kind of relationship.
Definitely.
Sure. Okay, well, let's jump in. Let's move on as we go, or yeah, and we'll take questions at the end there if anybody has questions, and we'll kind of jump into more of a conversation.
Okay,
Anybody
works.
else wants to share?
So play to earn. So we're moving into gaming.
Yeah, gaming's big, right? Like that's kind of all these little NFTs. Whether you're a lot of the games that people are playing now, like the company owns a lot of the avatars and a lot of the extra pieces that you're buying, the extra gun or the extra kind of shield, whatever it is, like within the game, all those pieces, like whether it's they're making millions and millions of dollars kind of from the ecosystems of these games. And
Mm,
Web3 came along and enabled gamers to kind of build these big systems that allow gamers to kind of own the NFTs that are part of the game, and with whether it's doing stuff for the game or whether it's kind of challenges, or if you're better at the game than other people, then you're able to collect certain
mhm.
NFTs. You can trade those, and you can do different things on the blockchain for them.
Let me ask you a question. Now, we're used to thinking of NFTs in the format of, whether it's artwork or music, and you have it in your wallet, and or you see it on OpenSea. So these NFTs that you earn through playing the game and upgrading to other levels, can those be put in your wallet as well?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it depends on the platform, right? Like, so a lot of these games, like I've put Flow and Wax and Immutable X, those are gaming platforms that are for NFTs that they have to control a lot of the assignment of the NFT and kind of the trading of it in the marketplace and the monetary value. So they'll control a lot of that, and they'll like make it so that it's those closed environments. Now you can move some of those NFTs on the outside to like your
Okay.
MetaMask or something like that to
Hmm.
bring. Now some of them have rules, obviously within them, but like it's really about the in-game trading and having
Hmm.
NFTs themselves like virtual real estate, right? So within the gaming, we know
Hmm.
about Decentraland and Sandbox
Essential
and all
land, yeah.
these ones that you're buying the NFT so that you can create your content on it, or that you can
Hmm.
create part of the gaming so that all of the ecosystem, like in the Sandbox, right? If you buy your own NFT plot, then you can create games on it that everybody else can play and you can earn money. So that's a way
Hmm.
to play to earn, right? Axie Infinity and Illuvium and these other games, those are meant to trading games and everything like on the blockchain. They're games that if you put your time in, you should be rewarded. So if you have a better strategy than other people, if you're a better gamer, you should get rewarded. So you might get a more rare NFT, right? Like, you might get something more valuable. Imagine playing a game, instead of spending money to play the game, you could actually earn kind of
Earn money.
earn money. And it's not a lot of money. Obviously, that goes with the price of crypto, right? Like, and And there's other caveats involved, meaning like some of the crypto that you earn might be a token for that game. Means that you'd have to like maybe get that token and then trade it for another one and then get to Ethereum or some. There might be other ways, but most of these play to earn, it's more about universal. It's all over the world. Anybody can play. You don't have to. There's no color, no race, no money. There's nothing that
We're
says that
all
you can
equal.
be involved. So, and the
Mhm.
big thing is you can't be rich or poor. You can have no money, and if you have a few, you can get sponsored. So there's actually people in like Indonesia and the Philippines play these games that get, rich kids or people want to sponsor them, and it allows them to play video games and make money. A lot of the kids, they're not making money, and this is a way that, a 16-year-old, an 18-year-old, and for a few hours a week or something, they can bring value to that community, get involved, maybe make some money. We'll see.
It kind of makes you laugh because you think back when, when you're a kid and your parents were like, you can't sit in front of the console all day and play games. You're wasting your time. Now the parents are probably like, sit there, play these games, earn us some money. I want to retire early. Let's keep going with it.
Absolutely.
It's true. Like now they're actually doing something productive. And not all the a lot of the games, yeah, the basic shoot 'em up type games, kill the zombies, it's a war zone basically, but there are other ones where it's strategy and you're actually having to think and be logical and solve puzzles to move on to other levels. So there is a fair amount of strategy in these gameplays as well.
Well, here, and I'll give you an example. It doesn't have to be zombies. Like people in the crowd here, they might have ideas for games or for the charity that you want to give to. You can create a mobile game, with Unity and with developers and some other kind of creators. You could create a game where some of the portions and all that go to that charity. So you're integrating like the branding and you're integrating play to earn or some other types of
Mhm.
mechanisms. It's all about your incentives. Your incentives could be in the game. Hey, in this charity, puppies, like find the puppies stolen, and bring the puppies back to the shelter, and then you win NFTs.
Absolutely. Cruella DeVille, she's out there. Catch her.
Yeah, yeah, we love the puppies. Big
Yes, we
fans.
do. PFP and avatars. So this is obviously one that, a lot of us here in VR, we're all aware of avatars and things that go along with it. There are some out there that are, really well known that are actually financially, you know, way up on the list.
Yeah, there's some big projects, right? Like, and the biggest PFP avatar project that everyone knows is Board 8 Yacht Club, right? That's
Yep.
the big one where everybody, got their avatars and got their specific one, and then you can build it. And the big thing is getting the files, right? That's the big thing with these avatars is getting access to the 3D files and getting access to able to sell and kind of create different versions, different remixes, different content, right? So one of the big projects that I'm in love with, everybody knows, is the Artifact and Nike and Clone X, right? So that's like the best project for me. Like that's the one where everybody is robots, you get to do cool things in the metaverse, to create wearables. You can sell. There's people that are creating full projects that are wearables for avatars. Like that's a great job. Like you find a cool avatar, NFT project, and you go in their Discord and you say, "Hey, like I want to make you a skateboard. Can I make 10,000 skateboards?" Figure out with an artist how to make really cool skateboards, then you just generate 10,000 of them, make it an NFT project and then sell it to the NFT holders. We're doing this every day. Like it's all about being creative. So these PFP projects are just amazing, right? Like they're all metaverse ready. So like the
Mhm.
Board Apes, they give you these avatars, and they've been doing something with the other side and doing projects where it's all about the metaverse, like in Ready Player One. A lot of these avatars, it's all about persistence and being live in the metaverse with 1,000 other avatars. That's
Right.
kind of the goal here. And we haven't really seen that yet. We've seen some games, Fortnite, you can be thousands of people, but it's different, right? Like they're not individuals, they're not NFTs. It's not, so these projects are merging what's called digital, which is physical kind of goods, which is your
Digital.
Nike
Mm.
shoes and all these clothes. They're merging them with digital NFTs with wearables. So you can buy the NFT, the wearable, and then forge it. And if you forge it, then Nike will send you, the exact unique shoe that you bought. Oh, this is changing the game. This is changing the way that people make money, creating digital assets. And it's very exciting.
I think that tangible too appeals to a lot of people because then it makes it a little bit more real. I think some people are thinking, oh, it's just this cartoon thing. It's not real. But then once you have something tangible in your hands, it definitely makes it more real.
Yeah, and you'll find too there's exclusive content, exclusive access, right, that come with these. So it's
Mhm.
really changing kind of how all that works. Sure. The avatars are made. Going to start working together. There's good
Mhm.
platforms where you can take your Doodles NFT avatar and bring it into a game that's on another platform. And that'll be exciting. That'll be once you start interoperability between a lot of them, that'll be where
Mhm.
the fun starts.
Definitely. I mean, especially like if you once you've created something that's yours and you can be bounce and then you're known instead of going into 5 different games as 5 different avatars, then this is just me walking seamlessly between all of these apps. And there
Yeah.
I am.
Well, and they're monetizing it, but because it becomes your identity, it becomes where
Mhm.
you can create content. You can do what's called VTubing. You can do podcasts on YouTube, and you're the avatar. So, and you can make mixed reality. There's people that are doing taking that avatar and then making music videos or making music as an avatar, and that's smart because then you're branding itself already in the metaverse. And if you create
Mhm.
music, then all of a sudden you're merging all of those things together. You're creating value. Then if you have your own, maybe you can do remixes. Like you can tell people, hey, like it's fun. There's a lot of different ways to do it.
And that's absolutely like for those of you who are regulars here in AltSpace, some of this happens on a regular basis in here. Maybe on a more primitive level that it's starting to expand, but there are definitely
Absolutely.
some people in here who are doing this on a regular basis and making music, making videos, and creating all of this in advertise and making it, it's out there. These videos are on YouTube, on social media, and
Right.
getting recognition to the point where Microsoft is looking down now and saying, "Hey, wait a second, what's this? This is interesting," and it's spreading.
Well, and there's that doing the mixed reality and the music videos. And don't forget
Mhm.
everybody, the big better meta, right? The new music video is coming out. I think it's
Absolutely,
this week, right? Club premiere. Oh, they're
absolutely.
launching all
Yep,
that.
Thursday
So
night.
we're gonna come
Yep.
together as a whole community, as an alt space community, and support them and really show up.
If there's any of you who are newer to AltSpace, this is the second video that's being made. The first one,
Mm,
it was amazing. It involved the community within here, and everybody got a chance to be part of it. Stovert is the video director for all of it, and Solji, Nancy Fletcher, and Sir Saxy are also in this video. And Sherwin got to be in the love interest of the beautiful Nancy Fletcher. So we all had a little bit of roles in it as, the extras in the crowd and stuff. So it was definitely something that brought the community together for the second time. So keep your eyes open for that drop this week because it's definitely worth watching out for.
absolutely. We'll move on real
So now
quick,
we
and
talk about
we'll
tickets.
yeah, we'll finish up real quick. So some of these, aren't as big as kind of the other kind of categories, but no, we know that Live Nation and other these artists are touring, and sometimes in the real world, there's ways that we can merge these digital tickets with kind of NFTs in the blockchain that can give fans exclusive content, exclusive access, meet and
Mhm.
greets, and kind of it's ways of them to onboard kind of younger generations where it's maybe not a QR code, it's maybe not a physical ticket, like the kid, they want an NFT, they want they can have in their wallet where after 30 years, it'll still be on the blockchain. It'll still be there. And you don't lose that little ticket that you had from 1970s, at the Pink Floyd kind of concert. And that would be valuable, right? Like,
Of
and all
course,
these new
yeah.
digital artists. And yeah.
I mean, and the
So,
the POAPs that we talk about too, similar in a POAP is like a ticket stub for attending the event.
of
And
course, yeah.
that's when you go to an event and you receive a POAP from it, it typically will have the date on it, the name of what the event was, and some sort of image to help you remember what it was at, and the nice thing about that is, you have a ticket stub from a concert that's a paper one. It wears over time. Most people don't think to preserve it. Let's think about it. When you're at a concert, you're having fun. You're not thinking about the quality of your ticket stub. It's launched in your pocket somewhere, and you check it out later. It's all wrinkled up and miserable. You get a POAP. It's a beautiful digital image that never loses its quality. It is what it is.
Well, and the big thing now with these tickets, people sell tickets. Well, what's a ticket, right? Is it for the real world concert or is it for the metaverse concert? So now you
Mhm.
can actually split that up. You can say, look, like you'll pay this much for a physical, like you'll be in the city, but what if you want to attend where you're in a 360-degree camera or in a live VR event, you're paying for that access. So
Mhm.
they're able to kind of make it more unique. Or let's say that I'm in the front row. I bought the tickets for the front row. I paid a lot of money. I want the NFT that gives me a special message from the artist directly to the front row. So there's ways of kind of adding value in the inherently without kind of, it's just a normal ticket and you wouldn't get all these extras. So it's extra content when you go home, maybe you can get
Yep.
behind the scenes or the green room or something. And it's just ways of expanding on these tickets. And Live Nation is a big one that are
Absolutely.
doing it, and there's a few others that are minting. Make it easy for artists, make it easy for people to kind of get into this game.
And that leads us into exclusive membership, which is, that is one of um, the thing that makes this elite, because you can give somebody an NFT that only allows the people who have NFTs to have access to this stuff.
Right.
And
Right.
exclusivity is, everybody wants something that no one else has. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that's just yours or something that's just belongs to a small group and you're one of them.
Well, and here's a great example is everybody wants to get into that room, right? You want to get into the Kevin Hart room, right? In the back room. So, you have to be a part of a small community and part of these exclusive memberships, right? There's only 1,000 NFTs. Don't make 100,000 of them. They'll make very small runs so that you feel inclusive. And what they'll do is will promote people that have these exclusive memberships so that it's hey, look who's here, right? Look who's in this network. So that if you have
Mhm.
this NFT, you have access to these people. You have access to a special Discord. And some of them are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars because of
Mhm.
who has the rest of these NFTs. So that you could learn business, you could learn maybe it's a YouTuber, a famous YouTuber, maybe it's a celebrity from Hollywood. And if you get this NFT, he'll give you access talk to you kind of in the room or virtually on Zoom or stuff like that. And I think that's the way that it's, the full access to unreleased stuff, and it's the airdrops, right? If you own this NFT, you're going to get the airdrop of a collection from my friend. My friend, by the way, just happens to be, a super famous artist that everybody's going to make all this money. Like, imagine you're part of a group that you're only getting this NFT. NFT is not for sale in the public. You're going to be a exclusive where only the owner of this NFT gets this merch. Everybody's like, oh, I want to buy it. It looks fire. And you can't. You have to have this NFT. And sometimes they do it where you have to hold it for a certain amount of time. You
Mhm.
have to hold it for, so many weeks or so and something. Or if you have this NFT with this NFT, you combine them and that'll give you access to other like doorways, right? Like different levels. And the people are coming up with really cool ways of incentivizing and offering
Mhm.
value. Here, the thing is, though, the innovation is just endless. If you're creative and you could come up with something cool, anybody can come up with something. because it's about finding a developer, write it in the code, right? You could have a membership where it's I'm the puppy club and I know the most about puppies. And if you buy this membership, you will learn. I'll have Caesar come on and he'll bring his exclusive kind of stuff and you're adding value to the club. And that's kind of happening all over the place now.
I mean, this kind of stuff, but prior to NFTs, this existed in other forms. Like for example, like Swarovski, the crystal company. They
Yep.
have an expensive membership that you take part in, and if you are part of a Swarovski club member, each year you get this one special crystal that they only give out to their members, and
Right.
you can't buy it. You might be the best collector in the world of Swarovski crystals, but
Right.
if you're not part of this membership group, you can't have this one little one that they give out every year. And it doesn't matter how much money you have, they won't give it to you. It's that is their rule. So this is very similar to that. You end up with an exclusive membership that you have access to things that other people can't have.
Well, and now they're starting to do it where it's not only access, but it's you can't come into this restaurant or this bar without this NFT. Without this, it makes it so that you can do a membership to a club, right? Membership to a place of business. If you have enough NFT holders, and if they're in those cities, if you coordinate, it's all about the coordination, right? And being strategic and getting everything the flow of the process, getting that to work. If you can get that to work, you can come up with anything you want and make it valuable and make it where brands are starting to give like all you can eat NFTs, right? Or free burritos for the whole year, right? Or unlimited for the rest of your life. Like some gyms, I think, are doing NFTs where if you win certain things, you can, you get it for life. Like you get it free, valuable.
Perhaps the gyms should pair up with the people giving out the free burritos, because that might be a good membership there.
Absolutely.
You might need to use them simultaneously.
Walked into that one. I walked into that one. Yeah, and to finish up, our last one real quick is just domain names, right? Like just I know they're boring and everyone's .com, right? But now it's about, you know, personalizing these addresses, personalizing these websites. So you can have CityGirl.eth, right? I have PixelAddikt.eth. So that when you send crypto in and out, or when you buy NFTs, your wallet is nice and on the public, it's on the blockchain. You can use, unstoppable domains. You can actually build a whole website on Web3 on the decentralized so that you're not using GoDaddy, right? You're using the Ethereum network to kind of have a website that nobody can take down, nobody can censor, that nobody can anything, and you can have these domains and they're starting to get valuable, right? Like people are buying, like golf.eth, right? And all these major brands and starbucks.eth and all of these destination kind of on the browsers. Now that the mobile browser is getting more Web3 friendly, so now you can go on MetaMask, right? And you can search around for these applications or these different kind of NFT marketplaces, and you can buy and trade, and it's a lot more fluid now.
Hmm. The possibilities become endless because you're not as limited. You're not under so many, constraints.
Right, right. Yeah, you own it, you control all the content, and you're the creator. So if you have a Web3 website, that means that you can create apps and have give an NFT on your website. Instead of sending them to OpenSea, if you know the code, right? If you work with a developer, you can bring all that to your website so that everybody's going to your marketing, right? And not these platforms. Bring them in, you get the fees, right? You will get all the royalties. You got to do all the code right, but it's a great way to do the branding for it. Keep everything on your personalized brand.
It gives you control over all of your own stuff, and basically, it's just like, I mean, that's what decentralization is all about, taking away the governing
Absolutely.
bodies and allowing you to have your own access. So it comes back down to that at the end of the day. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, this Web3, we've repeated a lot, but it's based on permissionless, right? You don't need permission. Just like to build a website on Web2, like to build an application on Web3, to build an NFT, to build anything you want. Don't ask permission. You just build it, and you
just do it.
build your own communities around it. learn the technology, find different people in your community and get some help. And there's room for everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah, and just um, the amount of opportunity that is out there for everyone. You're limited
Right.
by only by yourself. That's it. I mean, what you can learn, what you can create, what you can put out there, what you can bring people to. So, create stuff and market it, because you have access to create whatever you want, but you also have to do the work to bring the people to it. So it's that old saying, if you build it, they will come. Well, they will come if you let them know that it's there. So build it, market it, bring people to it. And then, you've made your own little world there that you can self-sustain, basically.
It's perfect. We'll leave it at that. And that's a great way to end our session today. We can take a few more questions and do a few more minutes of that. And great.
Absolutely.
Anybody have any
Does
questions
anyone out
about?
there
I
have
know
any
we covered a
comments they'd
lot.
like to share?
I late to the party, so apologies if this has already been answered. Massive fan of blockchain technology and all the potential uses of it. My big concern is the amount of damage that's been done over the past couple of months, couple of years by speculators coming in on, say, the different cryptocurrencies, on the likes of NFTs, selling it to the world and their grandmother as this great investment opportunity, pumping it up, and then the whole thing has just gone completely belly up, as we've seen. I wondered if what's your thoughts on the damage potentially that's done to the credibility of blockchain technology and how we recover from that publicly.
Oh, that's a great question for sure, and it's definitely a concern, right? Like, so any new technology, you'll find that, like, especially now that we've been in the game for 2 decades, right? Like, just internet and just scams and just everything in general. When Web3 came and it was all this new, right? There was a lot of new projects that could dump a lot of, non-valuable kind of artwork on like unsuspecting kind of new entrance into this. See, the fact that it was new technology that's very complicated and that it was a bunch of market people making money. The media didn't help, obviously, right? The media was reporting a lot of the look at the big numbers, right? The big numbers. People were making millions and millions, and you could spend $200 and make it. And the fact that people were doing that with crypto as well. So it wasn't just the NFT kind of problem, it was crypto in general kind of thing. But I'll tell you what, it was the people that put value in those important projects, the people that took responsibility for their IP and build their own communities, they didn't have to face a lot of the issues with like whether it was a scam or whether it was going to get rug pulled or whether there was different DeFi. A lot of these NFT projects, they integrated a bunch of DeFi that didn't make sense. They were promising the sky, and a lot of this is do your own research, right? A lot of these NFT, like you have to educate a lot of these consumers that you can't just buy this for speculative reasons. You have to spend what you can afford. You can't just put your family money, your rent money into NFTs and think you're going to make millions. And I'm sorry, but people that did that, like it's hard, right? It's hard to be bad on the kids that lost a lot of their money and stuff, but it's like you're online and you're full of you have to be educated. You have to if you're getting into stuff that you don't know and you're clicking on websites and you're connecting your wallet and you're trusting projects that now I'll give it it's hard to see what's real. Hard to see who's real. So you have to do research on like the authoritative kind of platforms. Are they on Discord? Are they on Twitter? Do they have verified accounts? There's a lot of you have to do your research so that you trust the project that you're investing in. So great question. That's
Absolutely.
definitely an issue, and I think over years, right, NFTs get stronger and people build up more trust with the community. The ones that screwed people over and that took all that money, they're gone. They only got to do it once. There's shame me once, fool me once kind of thing. So
Mm.
hopefully the whole ecosystem will recover over the next few years and kind of get it. But I do agree, a lot of people lost money, and it's sad.
Mm. It's not only, yes, it's more widely known right now in the crypto world, but that, I mean, that happens in regular investments as well, you know?
Yeah.
It's not, you know, look at all the dot coms that everybody threw money into that went up and left, you know? I mean, there's things like that that in regular investments you have, you know, there's good and bad investments in that too. And again, do your homework, do your research, and you know, a startup might have a great concept and you might think it's going to be good, but if they don't have the right backing, if they don't have the right strategic plan to work
Yeah.
off of, you know, you wouldn't want to throw all your money into that either. So,
Here's
I mean,
here's one of the big problems, everyone, is that these NFTs, they sit in a wallet. Okay, like unfortunately, like when you buy the, your rookie cards and your baseball cards, they don't sit in your bank account. So when people kind of steal your NFTs, they can steal all your money. So you
yep.
have to kind of, you have to move a lot of your money into these hardware wallets offline, right? Like the
Mhm.
most of it. You only keep, a few $100s, a few thousand, whatever you're comfortable with in these hot wallets in MetaMask. If have access to your NFTs. Some people like, move their NFTs offline, the important ones. Don't leave your board apes, and all these
Yep.
important NFTs accessible by hackers and stuff if you're not solid with your security.
For any
Next
of you who would like
question.
a little more info on the wallets, if you go onto our YouTube channel, you can watch our first episode that we did. We did talk down a little bit about the wallets and the difference between, you know, the hot and cold wallets, the like the Ledger wallet where you actually
Sure.
have a hardware piece of wallet versus, you know, just having the browser based ones.
Yeah.
So if you go back and watch that episode, you can get a little bit of information there. And we will talk more about them down the road as well in some
Right.
of our other episodes when we're talking more
Some
about NFTs too.
somebody asked me once, they're like, "Where's that crypto kitty that I'm like, listen, it's on the blockchain. Here's the link." Like I don't to show you in my
Mhm.
wallet kind of accessible. That doesn't work like that. And there's ways to
Yep.
protect yourself.
For sure.
William, you have the microphone.
Hi, can you hear me?
We
Yeah.
can. Hey, William.
Hey, I just wanted to say this is great. I just wanted to just tell you how much I really am enjoying these conversations and keep them up. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you. That's awesome.
Appreciate you keep coming back.
You have Joanne. Hey, Joanne. Joanne, are you there?
Maybe.
She may have stepped away.
Oh,
Looks like she might be
Don't think
back.
she's there anymore.
Okay.
sorry.
Well, just a reminder to everyone that we are doing this POAP contest that you're only eligible for if you are here tonight. From tonight until the end of the year, if you collect all of the remaining 8 POAPs, you will receive an NFT from us as a gift. So make sure you DM us after the show. You can either send us a message here on AltSpace or you can DM on our Instagram account and ask us for the link. And we'll be keeping track of who's collecting the POAPs, and whoever gets all 8 of them will have access to get the free NFT.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a great idea.
I want to thank you all for coming out again tonight. We really appreciate you joining us each week. We're really excited to keep going with our Monday night series. Next week, we have Miggy Silas, who will be here to talk to us. He is actually our field expert NFTs and crypto and gaming. He goes
Yeah.
to a lot of different conferences, and he actually he does a lot of speaking engagements where he talks about all the different things that are going on
Yeah.
out there, you know, day to day in the world of crypto, on all these different levels. So we're excited to have him on to chat with us next week and kind of tell us what's
Oh,
going on right now, what's current, you know, and then when we come back the following week, we're jumping
absolutely.
right
No,
back into
Miggy's
NFTs.
amazing. He knows a lot of game knows a lot of kind of how these all work, and he stays on top, right? The big thing with these
Absolutely.
NFTs is if you're not staying on top of it, it just moves quick. So it's, the communities move, the different projects move, and you kind of you can spend full time. People are on their phones, like just following these projects. So he's one
Absolutely.
that
Oh,
really understands different blockchains, different NFTs on Solana, on
Mhm.
Cardano, and Dano, and all of them. So it'd be exciting.
And he's done, he's done a few of his own NFTs, and
Sure.
the ones he did were more personal to him. But he definitely, is involved in so many different levels of it, and he goes out there at these conferences and absorbs what everybody else has to share, and then
It's
he can
awesome.
come back and share it with us. So it'll be an interesting conversation for sure. We hope you'll
So,
all join us again. And if you uh, came in late and missed the beginning of this episode, you'll be able to catch it on our YouTube channel. And if you just want to rewatch any of the previous episodes, you can go there and check them out as well. And we actually, if you go to our Instagram and go up into the bio, there's a link tree there with all of our different social media platforms if you want to follow us on the rest of them as well, so you can get all the information that we have to push out.
sure, for sure.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Pixel.
everybody. Yeah, no worries. No, thanks for having me again. Appreciate it.
And
Awesome.
thank you, everyone,
Thanks,
for
everybody.
showing up tonight. We will see you next week.
That outro music. Get that set up there. I'm
Ah.
evolving. Yeah.
we go.
yay.
Hey.
That's a great.